Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video for you and show you how I use the Fishman Triple Play wireless along with my iPad. Now if you have an iPad, the application that you'll want is called AUM. This application is a DAW that runs on an iPad. It's a great application, allows you to plug in instruments and select MIDI channels, all kinds of stuff with MIDI. The second thing you'll want is an application that actually acts like a plugin for AUM. It's called MIDI Tools. Both of these you'll find in the App Store for your iPad. Okay, so I start my chain at the very left with my MIDI source. I'm using the MIDI Tools app, which is a monitor, so I can monitor MIDI coming in. You can see that I can connect and disconnect it in AUM just by sliding it left and right. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to select what MIDI devices I'm actually connecting this to. You can see here I have my triple play guitar wireless. The dongle is just plugged straight into an adapter into the iPad. I have the FC1, not using it right now, but just showing you the dongle straight in. If I pull up the monitor, you'll see as I play the guitar, it's going to pick up each individual string, the notes on and off, and each string is on a different channel. That's going to be your poly mode. That's going to be very important when you want to split the strings between different instruments. Now my next line I'm going to select which channels I actually connect to. So see, I'm connecting to that MIDI monitor. So it's going back and it's connecting to the output of that MIDI monitor, that first source. So I have different patches here depending on what strings I want. For instance, EA, it's going to be your top two strings. If I look, it's going to be connected to that MIDI monitor. And if I scroll down, what you're going to see is that I'm using a channel filter to only get channels 5 and 6. So I'm only going to get those top two strings past this point. So anything I connect to this, the output of this MIDI source is going to be just those top two strings. Same thing with another one I've created that's just the bottom two strings. And I won't show you, but I also have bottom 3 strings and bottom 4 strings. This allows me to send strings to different instruments. And as I scroll here, you'll see all the different instruments. I have one instrument plugged into each channel, except when you get down to Sample Tank. The one that you're seeing here the most is going to be the Korg Module Pro. It has organs, pianos, strings, brass, a lot of your major instruments in there. Each one of these is connected back to all those different string configurations. So going from left, you have the source plugged in, I have the 5 string plugged in, and now when I plug in that instrument, you'll hear the sample. So I'll show you how instruments get plugged in. What we're going to do is just add a new channel. It's going to be an audio channel. And from here we can select our sources. Now there's going to be 2 different types. One is going to be your audio extension units. The other is going to be your inter-app audio. With the audio extension units, you can have more than one instance. That's why you see so many of the Korg Module Pros, 1 per each channel. Now, Sample Take by IK Multimedia is a great program, but unfortunately it only works in inter-app audio. So if I go to inter-app audio, you can see that I can add Sample Tank and a few others as well. So like I said, the downfall with this is that you can only have 1 instance. Now, among the many tools that you get with MIDI Tools, one of the most valuable is the route. So here, I'm using MIDI route to take those MIDI channels 1 through 6 and echo them all back down channel 7. You see I'm connected to those MIDI route sources, the different string connections. So I've connected all of those. You'll notice that the first one is the only one that's plugged in. The other 4 are kind of grayed out. But with Sample Tank, you can have 8 different instruments, but you can only have 1 instance of Sample Tank. What I have to do is plug each instrument into a different MIDI channel, but going from 7 up. The reason I can't use 1 through 6 is because Sample Tank will still pick up the 1 through 6 coming from the guitar source itself. And because I want to isolate those strings and route those strings the way I want them, I have to go with channel 7. So I'll finish off by talking about the output routing, and this is going to be your audio. You notice get your instrument at the top, it routes out at the bottom. If I delete my output and add the new one in, you'll see you can select from the speaker. Normally I have this plugged into my Helix. You can use an audio bus output if you're using audio bus to route it to other applications. And then there are several mix buses available to you within AUM itself. So what I do is route all of my outputs into mix bus A, and then the last channel in my chain is my mix bus A into whatever my output source is going to be. Now, normally, when I'm playing on stage, I use a Helix guitar pedal. It's connected by USB to my iPad and gives me 8 channels of audio back and forth between the iPad and my Helix. And it's a great way to just create a whole band-in-the-box setup. Anyway, hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions or any suggestions, drop me a line. Thanks.